This is Metaphysical Wealth, a guide to releasing the chase and remembering that abundance flows through you, not to you. Money is but energy made visible, moving toward those in harmony with its rhythm. As you listen, you'll awaken to the effortless art of allowing prosperity to find you. Metaphysical Wealth. Introduction. In the silent rhythm of creation, wealth is not something you earn, but something you remember. It is not found in pursuit, but in resonance. You have been taught to chase gold across the shifting sands of the world, yet every step away from your own center leads you further from the treasure that already surrounds you. Wealth is not a shore to be reached, it is the ocean itself. You do not need to swim toward abundance, for you are already immersed within it. The sacred task is not to grasp, but to attune, to move with the currents of prosperity that flow endlessly through the unseen fabric of life. The law of attraction is not a wish or a whim. It is the architecture of vibration. All things answer to frequency. As a note sung in harmony awakens the strings of a distant harp, so your thoughts and feelings summon their likeness from the universe. When your inner sound resonates with abundance, prosperity cannot help but answer your call. Those who understand the mystery of wealth know it is not kept. It is circulated. Like the breath that sustains life, it must flow freely through giving and receiving. The tighter you grasp, the more the current resists you. But in trust, in openness, in generosity, you become the vessel through which the infinite gives unto itself. Your perception of money is a mirror of your perception of energy. To fear its loss or doubt its presence is to block the very stream you seek to enter. The masters of old whispered the truth. Wealth is never made, it is allowed. Let go of the chase, let go of the doubt. Align yourself with the eternal abundance that is already here, waiting for your permission to flow. For money is only energy made visible, and you, when attuned to its divine frequency, become the living proof of prosperity's grace. The universe does not test your worthiness. It responds to your harmony. These words are not merely teachings, they are remembrance. Let them settle in the stillness of your soul. In that sacred quiet, you will feel the shift, and the outer world will rise to meet the wealth you have finally allowed within. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Frequency of Flow. Chapter 1. The Law Beneath the Ledger. In a small stone cottage at the edge of town lived Millie, who spent her evenings meticulously counting copper coins and silver pieces by candlelight. Each night she would sort them into precise stacks, recording every piece in a worn leather ledger. The coin's cold metal beneath her fingers brought momentary comfort, yet her heart remained heavy with worry. One night, as moonlight cast shadows through her window, an ethereal whisper stirred within her consciousness. "What you measure mistrusts you." The words echoed through her being, causing her hands to pause mid-count. In that sacred moment, a veil lifted from her understanding. Wealth, like water, flows according to invisible laws. It responds not to desperate grasping, but to the magnetic pull of belief. When your thoughts dwell in scarcity, you become like parched earth, repelling the very abundance you seek. Yet when you rest in the knowing of sufficiency, you transform into fertile soil, where prosperity naturally takes root. By the ancient riverbank stood an old tree, its roots stretching deep into the water. A drought had come, and the tree, fearing scarcity, began to hoard every drop it could gather. Its branches grew heavy with trapped water, while its leaves withered from the weight. Nearby, a young sapling continued its natural cycle of drawing water up and releasing it through its leaves. As the old tree struggled, the sapling thrived, for it understood the wisdom of flow. The tree's folly mirrors your relationship with wealth. When you clutch at resources convinced of their scarcity, you interrupt the natural circulation of abundance. Like a river that must both receive from its source and release to the sea, prosperity requires the sacred dance of giving and receiving. Your true wealth lies not in what you hold, but in your capacity to participate in this eternal flow. Sacred practice. Take a single coin or bill in your palm. Close your eyes and feel its presence. Breathe deeply and infuse it with your blessing, seeing it not as mere currency, but as concentrated light. Visualize this light multiplying as the money moves from your hands to others, creating ripples of goodwill. As you spend or share it, know that you are participating in the cosmic circulation of abundance. Feel the invisible current of prosperity already returning to you, carrying not just material value, but the profound interest of joy and connection. Chapter 2. Magnetic Belief Systems. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Roger watched as customers flowed like water around his small stall, streaming instead toward his neighbors' abundant displays. Each evening he would gaze at his meager earnings, his heart heavy with a familiar refrain. Why does fortune favor everyone but me? The universe speaks in patterns, and your life reflects not your hopes, but your deepest convictions. Roger's story mirrors a truth woven into the fabric of creation. Your beliefs act as powerful electromagnets, drawing to you not what you wish for, but what you truly expect. His whispered, "I never have enough," echoed through the chambers of the infinite, with far greater force than his surface prayers for prosperity. The law operates with perfect precision. You cannot attract what you secretly reject. When you proclaim, "I want abundance," while harboring an inner certainty of lack, the deeper belief prevails. This is not punishment, but physics. The universe responds not to words, but to the vibrational signature of your consciousness. In the fertile valleys beyond the city walls lived an old vintner named Thomas, who tended 3 separate parcels of identical grapevines. To the first, he whispered daily of its potential for sweetness. To the second, he spoke nothing at all. To the third, he muttered of its inevitable bitterness. When harvest came, though the sun and soil had been the same, each vine yielded exactly what Thomas had expected: sweet, ordinary, and bitter fruit from identical plants. So it is with the harvest of your life. Your expectations shape reality more surely than any external circumstance. The universe, vast and responsive, mirrors back to you the exact frequency of your beliefs. What you hold as truth in the quiet chambers of your heart becomes the blueprint for your experience. Let this understanding sink deeply into your awareness. Your beliefs are not passive thoughts, but active forces that shape the very substance of your reality. Each conviction you carry sends ripples through the field of infinite possibility, attracting circumstances that match its vibration. Practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Close your eyes and allow these words to resonate not as mere affirmation, but as recognition of an eternal truth. I am already funded by the infinite. Feel this statement not as a hope for the future, but as an acknowledgement of what already is. Let it sink from your mind into your heart, from thought into knowing. The infinite source of all abundance flows through you even now, waiting only for your recognition to make itself known in your visible world. Chapter 3. The Currency of Emotion. In the shadow-filled valleys between mountain peaks lived a woman named Cora. Each morning she would dutifully leave baskets of fresh fruit on her neighbors' doorsteps. Yet her movements carried the weight of obligation rather than the lightness of love. Though her actions spoke of generosity, her heart whispered of scarcity. I give and give, she would lament, yet abundance passes me by. The universe responds not to your gestures, but to the energy that flows through them. Like water seeking its own level, prosperity aligns with your emotional frequency. When you perform acts of giving with resentment lurking beneath the surface, you create opposing forces within the universal field. Your hands may open in generosity, but if your heart remains closed, the circuit of abundance cannot complete itself. In the ancient city of Valladara lived a baker named Tomas, whose bread was known throughout the land for its extraordinary quality. Some claimed his loaves possessed healing properties, while others insisted a single bite could lift the heaviest spirits. Many attempted to replicate his recipe, yet none succeeded. One day, a young apprentice observed Tomas at work. To his surprise, the master baker used the same simple ingredients as everyone else. However, as Tomas kneaded each loaf, he hummed with genuine joy, his hands moving in rhythm with his heart's gratitude. The secret, he explained, lives not in the flour, but in the feeling. Bread rises best when blessed by authentic appreciation. This truth extends beyond the baker's art. It is the cornerstone of all creation. When you engage with money, whether earning, spending, or giving, your emotional signature becomes infused within the exchange. Joy multiplies joy. Gratitude magnetizes more reasons for thanksgiving. Resentment, even when masked by righteous action, can only attract more experiences that justify its existence. Your financial flow responds not to what you do, but to the vibrational current running through your deeds. Each transaction is an opportunity to deposit positive energy into the universal bank. When your heart aligns with your hands, even the smallest exchanges become powerful investments in your energetic economy. Sacred practice. Before any financial transaction, whether receiving payment, purchasing necessities, or sharing resources, pause for 3 conscious breaths. Allow your being to fill with genuine appreciation for this moment of exchange. Feel how this simple shift in energy transforms routine transactions into sacred ceremonies of circulation. Watch as your small offerings, charged with authentic joy, return to you multiplied through unexpected channels. The universal law remains constant. It is not the size of the exchange that matters, but the size of the love flowing through it. Chapter 4. The Wealth of Worthiness. Along the bustling trade routes of old, a merchant named Ned carried wares of exceptional quality. His craftsmanship spoke of mastery, yet when the moment came to seal a transaction, an invisible hand seemed to pull him back from success. Time and again, Promising deals would slip through his fingers like water, leaving him wondering why fortune seemed to favor everyone but him. What you fail to see is that abundance flows not according to merit alone, but through the channel of self-worth you have carved within. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, cannot override the limitations you place upon yourself. When you declare yourself unworthy of receiving, even the most generous gifts must respect your decree. Your relationship with prosperity mirrors your relationship with yourself. If you believe you deserve little, the universe will honor that belief with mathematical precision. This is not punishment, but perfect reflection, the outer world conforming to your inner valuation. In a distant marketplace there lived a shopkeeper named Amara, who crafted the finest silk garments in all the land. Though her work drew admiration from far and wide, she priced her creations far below their worth, fearing that asking for more would drive customers away. Each sale brought not joy, but a subtle ache, as though she had betrayed herself in some small way. One day, a wise merchant examined her wares and asked, "Why do you discount your soul's expression?" His words struck deep, revealing how her prices reflected not market value, but the modest sum she believed she deserved. As she gradually raised her prices to match her artistry's true worth, something remarkable occurred. Customers not only continued to buy, but treated her work with greater reverence. This simple truth echoes through the chambers of existence. The world will never value you more than you value yourself. When you discount your worth, you teach others to do the same. But when you stand firm in your value, the universe rises to meet your self-appraisal. The ancient practice of cultivating self-worth requires not grand gestures but gentle persistence. Each morning, as the sun paints the sky with possibility, place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady rhythm, the pulse of your inherent worth. Speak these words with quiet certainty. I am worthy of effortless overflow. Let this truth settle into your bones, replacing old doubts with new dignity. In this simple ritual lies the seed of transformation, for when you truly know your worth, abundance knows where to find you. Ancient practice. Each morning, place a hand over your heart and say gently, I am worthy of effortless overflow. Feel the statement settling as truth. Chapter 5. Vibrational Spending. In the heart of an ancient marketplace, a woman named Irene stood frozen before a merchant's stall, her coins clutched tightly in her palm. Though the fresh figs before her called to her senses, her mind raced with calculations and worry. Can I truly afford this? What if I need these coins tomorrow? Each potential purchase became a battle between desire and dread, pleasure and panic. Day after day, she left the market empty-handed, her purse full, but her spirit diminished. The universe speaks through the language of energy, and every exchange carries a vibration far more significant than its monetary value. When you approach spending with fear and constraint, you send ripples of scarcity into the cosmic ledger. Yet, when you release money with joy and trust, you activate the eternal law of multiplication. Consider how water behaves. When held too tightly, it stagnates and grows bitter. But when allowed to flow freely, it remains fresh and life-giving. Your relationship with money follows the same principle. Each transaction is an energetic statement to the universe. Anxiety-driven spending tells the universe, there isn't enough. Joy-filled spending declares, "There is always more." This truth becomes clearer through the tale of two sisters who visited the same pottery maker. The first sister, consumed by worry, purchased a beautiful vase while mentally calculating the meals she might miss. The second sister bought an identical vase, her heart singing with appreciation for the artisan's skill and the beauty she would bring to her home. Though they paid the same price, their paths afterward differed remarkably. The first sister's vase sat unused, gathering dust, a reminder of her scarcity mindset. The second sister's vase attracted admiration from visitors, leading to connections that brought unexpected opportunities and abundance into her life. The message rings clear across the ages. It is not what you spend, but how you spend that shapes your financial destiny. Every purchase carries the seed of either contraction or expansion. When you release money with joy, you create a vacuum that the universe naturally fills with more abundance. When you spend with fear, you create resistance to the very flow you desire. Your relationship with spending reflects your trust in the universe's infinite supply. Each transaction offers an opportunity to strengthen or weaken this connection. Choose to make every exchange a celebration of abundance rather than a testament to fear. To transmute this wisdom into practice, adopt this ancient ritual. When making any payment, whether small or significant, silently affirm, "And more shall return multiplied by joy." This simple declaration aligns your energy with the universal law of circulation, transforming every expenditure into an investment in abundance. This sacred knowledge reminds us that wealth flows not through the channels of calculation, but through the pathways of trust. In releasing attachment to money while maintaining joy in its movement, you become a conscious participant in the cosmic dance of giving and receiving. Practice. When paying for anything, silently add, "And more shall return, multiplied by joy." Feel the truth of these words in your heart, knowing that each joyful release creates space for greater abundance to flow into your life. Chapter 6. The Invisible Market. A merchant named Walt sat in his empty shop, watching customers stream into neighboring stores while passing his door without a glance. Though his wares matched his competitors in quality and price, prosperity seemed to flow around him like a river splitting around a stone. Night after night, he counted his dwindling coins, his heart heavy with confusion. Your relationship with abundance mirrors Walt's predicament. Yet within this challenge lies a sacred truth. The universe operates through vibrational correspondence rather than logical progression. Just as radio waves travel invisibly through space until meeting their matching receiver, opportunities flow constantly through the ethereal realm, seeking their vibrational match. The great law declares, "What you radiate, you attract." When worry and scarcity consciousness dominate your thoughts, you transmit a frequency that repels the very prosperity you seek. But when you cultivate genuine trust and enthusiasm, you become a natural attractor for abundance. In the mystical gardens of the East lived a wise beekeeper who never needed to search for his bees at day's end. While others chased their swarms with smoke and noise, he simply planted night-blooming jasmine near their hives. The bees, guided by the flower's sweet essence rather than their eyes, always found their way home through the darkness. "The scent speaks to their nature," he would say, "and nature always answers nature's call." So too does the invisible market respond to your essential frequency. Your needs and desires emit a subtle fragrance into the universal field. When this essence carries the sweet nectar of faith rather than the bitter tang of anxiety, matching opportunities are drawn to you as naturally as bees to blossoms. Walt discovered this truth one morning when, instead of focusing on his empty shop, he began to imagine the joy of serving his community. He filled his space with genuine enthusiasm for his craft. Within days, customers began appearing as if guided by an unseen hand. His shift in energy had activated a corresponding shift in his circumstances. This ancient wisdom teaches that abundance follows attention. Where your excitement flows, energy goes. The universe responds not to your words or actions alone, but to the invisible aroma of your belief and expectation. The sacred practice. Find a quiet space each morning as the sun rises. Close your eyes and imagine your enthusiasm as a sweet fragrance rising into the universal field. Feel how your genuine excitement creates a magnetic pull in the invisible realm. Maintain this vibration for several minutes, knowing that opportunities are being drawn to your energy. Trust that, like the bees finding flowers in darkness, prosperity knows precisely where to find its matching frequency in you. Chapter 7. The Golden Attitude. In a small coastal town lived a woman named Mabel who spent her days cataloging misfortunes. Each morning she would count her lacks rather than her blessings, muttering about rising prices and dwindling savings. Though she worked diligently, money seemed to slip through her fingers like water through a sieve. Her home, though comfortable, felt insufficient. Her salary, though adequate, never satisfied. Even when good fortune knocked, she would find fault with its timing or magnitude. The universe operates through an ancient and unwavering principle. What you appreciate, appreciates. Your thoughts and feelings create invisible threads that either draw abundance closer or push it away. When you focus on lack, you broadcast a frequency of insufficiency into the cosmic field. When you radiate gratitude, you activate the multiplying force of the universe. Think of your consciousness as a garden. Each grateful thought plants a seed of possibility. Each complaint spreads weeds that choke potential prosperity. The law of attraction responds not to your words or actions, but to the vibrational signature of your dominant emotional state. Gratitude is the highest frequency you can emit. It signals to the universe that you trust in its abundance and are ready to receive more. Just as a magnet cannot help but attract metal, a grateful heart cannot help but attract circumstances that mirror its appreciation. This is not mere philosophy. It is the physics of manifestation. When you thank the universe for what you have, you tune yourself to the frequency of having rather than wanting. This subtle shift transforms your entire relationship with abundance. To illuminate this truth, witness the tale of an old gardener in a distant valley. His neighbor's plants withered in the drought, yet his garden flourished. When asked his secret, he revealed, "Each morning, I walk among my plants and thank them for their beauty before it appears. I express gratitude for the fruits they have not yet borne. I send love to each leaf and stem as if they were already in full bloom." Within weeks, his garden burst with life while others remained barren. The plants responded not to water alone, but to the nurturing energy of appreciation. This same principle governs the garden of your prosperity. Your gratitude is the water that brings dormant opportunities to life. This ancient wisdom speaks directly to your journey. The seeds of abundance already exist in your life, waiting to be activated by your appreciation. Each complaint reinforces scarcity. Each expression of gratitude awakens possibility. Your financial reality will mirror whichever you choose to cultivate. Sacred practice. As you pay each bill, pause to speak aloud one genuine statement of gratitude. I thank you for the electricity that lights my home. I am grateful for the water that flows freely at my command. Transform each payment from an obligation into an offering of appreciation. Watch as this practice gradually shifts your relationship with money from resistance to receptivity, from burden to blessing. In this way, even the simplest transaction becomes a gateway to greater abundance. Chapter 8. Desire without desperation. In the ancient valleys there lived a merchant named Elmer, whose ambition burned like wildfire. Day and night his mind churned with schemes and dreams of wealth. He paced restlessly through the marketplace, his eyes fixed on others' success, his heart racing with desperate yearning. The more intensely he craved prosperity, the more it seemed to retreat from his grasp. The law of creation operates through a paradox that few understand. Desire births manifestation, but attachment strangles it. When you clutch too tightly to an outcome, you create resistance in the very field meant to deliver it. Your desperate energy tells the universe, "I lack this," and the universe, being a perfect mirror, can only reflect that lack back to you. True magnetic power flows from a state of peaceful knowing. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up each day to check its progress. You water it, trust the soil, and allow nature's wisdom to unfold in its own time. So too must you treat your aspirations. Plant them in fertile soil of belief. Nourish them with positive expectation. Then step back and allow the invisible forces to work their magic. Think of desire as a delicate flame. Cup it too tightly and you smother it. Leave it completely exposed and it extinguishes. But shelter it with gentle hands. Give it space to breathe, and it grows naturally into a beacon that guides abundance to your door. In a distant fishing village lived an old man named Chen who was known for his exceptional catches. While other fishermen thrashed at the water with their nets, scaring away the fish, Chen would sit quietly in his boat, dropping his net with serene patience. "The fish are already mine," he would say. "I simply wait for them to realize it." Each evening his boat would return heavy with fish, while others who had fought the waters returned with meager catches. Just as Chen understood that anxiety repels the very thing we seek, you must learn that relaxed expectation creates a field of attraction. Your desires are already fulfilled in the quantum realm. Your only task is to remain in graceful alignment with their manifestation. The practice of sacred release. After voicing any financial aspiration, exhale completely and whisper these words, "I release the timeline." Feel the tension leave your body as you surrender the when and how to universal intelligence. This ancient practice dissolves resistance and opens the channel for natural abundance to flow. Your role is not to force the river, but to align with its current, trusting that what is truly yours cannot miss you. Chapter 9. Generosity as Technology. High in the mountain village, a merchant named Clem lived behind walls of copper and silver. Each morning he counted his coins, wrapping them in cloth and hiding them beneath floorboards. His wealth grew, yet his heart shrank, until misfortune visited his door. His sister fell gravely ill, requiring costly medicines. With trembling hands, Clem released his precious coins to save her life. To his amazement, as soon as the money flowed outward, unexpected blessings flowed in. A forgotten debt was repaid, a new trading route opened, and prosperity multiplied beyond his careful calculations. The universe speaks through the language of energy. When you dam a stream, its waters grow stagnant. When you unlock the flow, fresh currents bring new life. Your wealth is not measured by what you hold, but by what moves through you. The act of giving is not loss. It is the sacred technology of abundance. Within the infinite field of possibility, giving creates space for receiving. It declares to the universe, "I trust in the endless supply." This trust activates the law of circulation, which governs all energy, including material wealth. Those who understand this law know that generosity is not sacrifice. It is investment in the cosmic flow. In a distant valley, there once lay a pond fed by mountain springs. Over time, debris blocked its outlet, and its waters grew dark and lifeless. No fish swam in its depths, no flowers bloomed on its banks. Then one spring day, a storm cleared the blockage. As water began to flow out, fresh streams rushed in. Soon the pond teemed with life, its waters crystal clear. Just as the pond transformed through movement, your prosperity awakens through circulation. Every gift creates an opening for abundance to enter. This is not mere metaphor. It is the physics of energy exchange at work in your financial life. Your relationship with money reflects your trust in life's flow. When you give with joy, you align with the universe's natural rhythm of expansion. Each act of genuine generosity ripples outward, creating waves of abundance that return multiplied. The sacred practice of circulation. Choose something of value. It may be money, time, or heartfelt praise. Give it freely, with no expectation of return. Feel the joy of release, knowing that your gift activates the eternal cycle of giving and receiving. Let your offering be pure, untainted by obligation or need for recognition. In this sacred act of trust, you open invisible channels through which abundance flows endlessly. Chapter 10. The Alchemy of Appreciation. In a bustling marketplace, a woman named Edith stood amid abundance, yet saw only emptiness. While merchants displayed overflowing baskets of fresh fruits and vibrant textiles, she noticed only what was missing. "These apples are smaller than last season," she would say. "The silk isn't as fine as it once was." Her eyes, trained on lack, transformed even life's sweetest offerings into bitter disappointments. Within the invisible realms, every thought you hold becomes a lens through which the universe reveals itself. When you focus on absence, you emanate a frequency that dims the glow of what surrounds you. Yet this same power of attention, when redirected, becomes the master key to unlocking hidden treasures. The law of appreciation operates with mathematical precision. What you acknowledge multiplies. What you dismiss diminishes. Your attention is not merely observing reality, it is creating it. Each moment of gratitude sends ripples through the universal field, magnetizing more reasons to be thankful. In the mountains of the East, there lived a miner who spent years searching for gold. Day after day he sifted through streams, becoming increasingly frustrated as he found nothing of value. One morning, a wise woman passed by and asked to examine the worthless dark dust he had been discarding. With a knowing smile, she revealed that what he had mistaken for ordinary dirt was actually black gold dust. He had been throwing away a fortune. His eyes, untrained in recognition, had been blind to the wealth literally in his hands. This simple tale mirrors your own relationship with abundance. The universe has already provided countless treasures, yet they remain invisible until your appreciation unveils them. A kind word from a stranger, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the rhythm of your breath. These are coins of consciousness, waiting to be recognized as the wealth they truly are. When you shift from noting what is missing to celebrating what is present, you activate an ancient alchemy. Your gratitude becomes the philosopher's stone, transforming ordinary moments into gold. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the activation of a universal law that governs the flow of abundance. The sacred practice. As each day draws to a close, sit in quietude and inscribe 3 simple blessings you encountered, moments so ordinary you might have overlooked their worth. A bird's song at dawn, the aroma of fresh bread, the sound of children's laughter. Continue this practice until you begin to feel wealthy in the currency of everyday miracles. For in truth, abundance surrounds you, waiting only for your recognition to spring into vivid life. Part 2. The Architecture of Abundance. Chapter 11. Thought as Tender. Along a winding path through an ancient market, a merchant named Harvey meticulously counted his daily earnings. Though his stall overflowed with exotic spices and rare herbs, his ledger showed meager returns. Night after night he worried about dwindling profits, his mind filled with visions of empty shelves and unpaid debts. One evening, as shadows lengthened across the marketplace, an old sage paused at Harvey's stall. Observing the merchant's furrowed brow, he spoke. "Your thoughts trade in the eternal marketplace, long before coins change hands." The sage's words sparked something within Harvey's consciousness. As days passed, he began to understand that each anxious thought about scarcity was a transaction with the universe, a purchase of the very lack he feared. He learned that sustained mental images were like invisible currency, depositing impressions into the vast bank of universal consciousness. Just as coins must be minted before they circulate, your thoughts shape the substance of tomorrow's reality. Each worry stamps an imprint of lack. Each vision of abundance creates spiritual tender that materializes in time. The universe honors these mental transactions with unwavering precision. In a distant city lived an artist named Maya who understood this truth instinctively. Each morning she would sketch scenes of prosperity and beauty in her notebook. As weeks passed, wealthy patrons began commissioning works that mirrored her private drawings with uncanny accuracy. Her preliminary sketches were like promissory notes that the universe honored with physical commissions. The power that transformed Maya's sketches into commissioned works is the same force that converts your sustained thoughts into material circumstances. Your mental images are the first currency of creation, the invisible tender that precedes all physical wealth. Look at your own thought transactions with new awareness. Each moment of focused attention is an exchange with the infinite. What you contemplate consistently becomes the coin of your realm. The universe maintains perfect accounts, returning to you the equivalent of your mental investments. The wisdom of the ages whispers this truth. Your thoughts are transactions in the cosmic marketplace. Every sustained image is a deposit that matures into physical form. The spiritual becomes material through the alchemy of focused attention. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and envision your chosen number, gleaming in pure golden light. Watch as this luminous figure flows freely through your daily experiences, appearing on documents, receipts, and bank statements. Let it circulate through your visualization for 5 full minutes, knowing that this mental transaction is already completing in the universal ledger. Feel the certainty that your thought currency is being minted in the treasury of infinite possibility. Chapter 12. The Spirit of Circulation. In a bustling marketplace, a young woman named Betty clutched her purse tightly, watching each coin as though it might be her last. Every purchase, no matter how small, filled her with unease. She saw each expenditure as diminishment rather than participation in life's grand exchange. Through divine synchronicity, you too may recognize yourself in Betty's story, for like her, you may have forgotten that wealth moves in rhythmic cycles, not static accumulation. The universal law reveals itself. Circulation, not conservation, creates the pulse of prosperity. When you grasp too tightly, you interrupt the natural flow that seeks to nourish every aspect of your existence. Your relationship with money mirrors the breath of life itself, a constant dance of giving and receiving. Consider the tale of the mountain drummer who learned this truth through his art. In a temple high above the clouds, this musician struggled to maintain rhythm, clutching his drumsticks with rigid determination. His teacher observed this tension and offered wisdom that would transform not just his music, but his understanding of life's fundamental pattern. Release the sticks on every 4th beat, the teacher instructed. Let go completely. The drummer resisted at first, fearing loss of control. But as he practiced this pattern of hold and release, something miraculous occurred. His rhythm found its natural flow. The music soared. In that moment of surrendering control, he discovered the perfect tempo that had eluded his grasp. This simple truth echoes through the chambers of existence. It is in releasing that we receive, in participating that we prosper, in flowing that we flourish. Your wealth consciousness follows this same rhythm. Each transaction is an opportunity to participate in life's eternal dance. When you withhold from fear, you create resistance in the natural current of abundance. When you engage with trust, you become one with its flow. Look closely at those moments when prosperity seems to pause in your life. You may find that, like Betty, you've been interrupting your own rhythm through hesitation and fear. The universe whispers a deeper truth. Your participation in the flow of giving and receiving is what sustains and multiplies your abundance. Ancient practice. Sit quietly and bring awareness to your breath. As you breathe, picture each financial exchange as part of this same natural rhythm. With every exhale, visualize joyfully spending or giving. With every inhale, feel yourself receiving with gratitude. Let this practice remind you that abundance flows in eternal cycles, just as your breath sustains your life. Maintain this visualization for several minutes, feeling the infinite nature of this exchange. Remember, The rhythm of wealth moves through you, not from you. You are not diminished by participation. You are enhanced by it. Each transaction is an affirmation of your trust in life's endless abundance. Chapter 13. The Quantum Tithe. In the quiet dawn, Alma knelt before her altar, carefully calculating 10% of her earnings. She placed the money in an envelope, her movements precise and mechanical. There, she thought, now abundance must flow to me. Yet week after week, her giving felt hollow, a mere transaction that yielded minimal returns. The wisdom whispers, tithing transcends arithmetic. It is not a cosmic vending machine where you insert offerings to receive rewards. Rather, it serves as an energetic tuning fork, aligning your frequency with the infinite flow of universal abundance. When you release a portion of your earnings with joy, you broadcast a powerful quantum signal into the universe. This signal speaks not of scarcity or obligation, but of unshakable trust in the endless cycle of replenishment. Your giving becomes a declaration. I trust in the abundance that flows through me. Among the ancient scrolls lies the tale of a desert songstress named Layla. Before each performance, she would pour water from her precious flask into the sand. Other travelers called her foolish, warning that she risked thirst in the harsh climate. But Layla understood something they did not. This ritual was not about the water itself, but about tuning her spirit to the frequency of trust. Just as a singer must find the perfect pitch before performing, your conscious act of giving calibrates your energy to harmony with universal abundance. Like Layla's water offering, your giving creates ripples in the invisible realm, adjusting your vibrational signature to one of sufficiency and flow. This sacred truth reveals itself. The act of tithing matters less for its mathematical precision than for its energetic resonance. When you give with genuine joy, you align yourself with the natural law of circulation. Your offering becomes not a payment, but a frequency modifier, lifting you into harmony with abundance's endless song. The water Layla poured into the sand seemed lost to others' eyes. Yet in the subtle realms, her gesture of trust created an energetic harmony that drew listeners from distant lands, filling her cup with more than she could have held on to alone. So too will your conscious giving create harmony in the invisible dimensions of wealth. This is not about percentages or calculations. It is about calibrating your energy to the frequency of overflow. Ancient practice. Each week, set aside a portion of your earnings. The amount matters less than the feeling behind it. Hold these resources in your hands and feel them vibrating with potential. Then, with joy and trust, release them to circulate where your heart feels most aligned. Let this not be a payment, but a tuning of your spirit to the endless song of abundance. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Energy of Expectancy. In a bustling marketplace, Gordon sat counting his meager earnings at his small trading stall. Day after day, he strained to attract customers, his brow furrowed with worry about meeting his needs. The harder he tried, the more elusive success became. Yet strangely, whenever he abandoned his anxious watch, abundance would flow to him unexpectedly. The universal law reveals itself through this pattern. True expectancy carries no strain. When you release the grip of desperate wanting, you enter the natural rhythm of receiving. Your relationship with prosperity mirrors the tide. It flows most freely when you trust its return without clinging to its presence. The difference between straining and expecting lies in your energetic signature. Strain broadcasts doubt, while pure expectancy radiates certainty. When you expect with ease, you align with the natural order of abundance. Your very being becomes a magnet for opportunity, drawing fortune through the path of least resistance. Consider the merchant who counts his inventory obsessively versus one who stocks his shelves with quiet confidence. The first repels prosperity through anxiety. The second attracts it through trust. Your expectation must mirror the effortlessness of breathing, natural, relaxed, assured. In the valleys beyond the ancient hills lived a gardener named Rumi, who tended his plot with increasing desperation as each season's harvest fell short. Daily he paced among his seedlings, checking for signs of growth, his worry casting shadows over tender shoots. The plants remained stubbornly small, as if resisting his anxious attention. One morning, exhausted from his vigilance, Rumi fell ill and was forced to rest. For 3 days he lay in bed, too weak to visit his garden. When he finally returned, he found his plot transformed, lush with vibrant growth, flowers blooming in abundance. In releasing his grip of worry, he had allowed nature's rhythm to flourish unimpeded. This tale speaks directly to your own relationship with prosperity. When you release the strain of forcing results, you allow the natural flow of abundance to move through your life. Your role is not to make things happen, but to maintain an open, expectant field where good fortune can easily land. The universe responds not to your effort, but to your energetic state. When you exist in natural expectancy, like a child on Christmas Eve who knows morning will bring gifts, you become irresistible to prosperity. This is not wishful thinking, but alignment with universal law. Ancient practice of natural expectancy. As the sun rises each morning, whisper softly to yourself, "Something wonderful is sure to find me." Let these words float lightly in your consciousness, carried on a smile rather than weighted by need. This is not an affirmation to be forced, but a playful recognition of life's natural abundance. Maintain this gentle expectancy throughout your day, knowing that prosperity flows most freely to those who trust its arrival without strain. Chapter 15. Wealth as Relationship. In a quiet valley, Lulu sat before her strongbox, her feelings swinging between adoration and resentment. Some days she would caress her coins with tender appreciation, whispering gratitude for their presence. Other days, she would glare at her purse with bitter accusations, blaming money for her struggles and limitations. As her emotions oscillated, so did her fortunes. When she showered her wealth with love, opportunities seemed to multiply effortlessly. Yet in moments of hostility, even the simplest transactions became fraught with difficulty. Through her experience, a timeless truth emerged. Money, like all energy, responds to the emotional frequency directed toward it. The universe operates through resonance. Your relationship with wealth mirrors any deep connection. It thrives on consistency, trust, and genuine appreciation. When you treat money as an adversary, it withdraws. When you embrace it as an ally, it draws closer, eager to dance in harmony with your intentions. Think of your financial energy as a living force, sensitive to your emotional weather. It feels your trust or suspicion, your welcome or rejection. Each transaction carries the imprint of your attitude, creating a pattern that either invites or repels future abundance. High in the mountains lived a wise woman known for her remarkable connection with birds. While others attempted to capture these celestial creatures with nets and cages, she simply extended her open palm with patience and love. Day after day, rare and beautiful birds would alight upon her hand, drawn by her gentle presence. Those who observed her methods began to understand. It was not her technique, but her tender heart that drew the birds near. When others tried to grasp at them, the birds would scatter. But in her calm presence, they would return again and again, bringing new companions with each visit. So it is with the flow of abundance. Your emotional state creates the environment that either welcomes or warns away prosperity. When you extend trust, appreciation, and respect toward money, it responds like any well-treated friend, with loyalty and increasing presence. The ancient wisdom reveals that wealth has consciousness. It seeks environments where it is valued, respected, and allowed to flow freely. Your role is not to clutch or control, but to create an emotional climate where abundance feels welcomed and understood. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment each morning. Place your hands over your heart and speak to money as you would to a cherished friend. I trust you completely. Thank you for your faithful presence in my life. I appreciate how you always find your way to me, bringing opportunities and blessings. Our connection grows stronger each day. Let these words rise from genuine feeling, knowing that the language of the heart speaks louder than any sum. Chapter 16. Vibrational Generosity. In the bustling marketplace, Stanley watched as his neighbor's shop flourished while his own remained quiet. Each time a customer entered the adjacent store, his heart tightened with envy. At night he would lie awake, wondering why fortune seemed to favor others while passing him by. One morning, an ancient merchant appeared at his door. "You dim your own light," the elder observed. "Each frown at another's success casts a shadow on your own door." The truth rings across ages. Abundance flows through open hearts. When you constrict in jealousy, you create resistance in your own energy field. Yet when you expand in celebration of others' good fortune, you tune yourself to the frequency of prosperity. Consider how wealth truly moves through the world. It is not a finite resource to be hoarded or divided, but an infinite energy seeking channels through which to flow. When you bless another's success, you declare yourself ready for similar blessings. Your genuine joy for others' achievements signals the universe that you understand its abundant nature. Think of a hall of mirrors, each reflecting and amplifying a single candle's light. The flame loses nothing by being reflected. Instead, its radiance multiplies. So too does prosperity multiply when reflected through hearts that celebrate together. Your neighbor's success does not diminish your potential. It illuminates what is possible for all. In the ancient wisdom traditions, masters taught that the energy you direct toward others returns to you multiplied. When you curse another's fortune, you curse your own. When you bless another's abundance, you bless your own path to prosperity. A merchant in a distant land once resented the success of others until he discovered this truth. Each morning, he began blessing every shop in the marketplace. "May their prosperity increase," he would say, meaning it with his whole heart. Soon, his own fortunes began to shift. The more sincerely he celebrated others' success, the more his own business thrived. The universe responds not to your words, but to the vibration behind them. False blessings born of duty carry little power, but genuine joy for another's good fortune creates a resonance that attracts similar experiences into your life. As you free yourself from the constrictive energy of comparison and competition, you open new channels for abundance to flow. This wisdom speaks through the ages. What you celebrate multiplies. Each time you resist another's good fortune, you contract your own energetic field. Each time you genuinely rejoice in another's abundance, you expand your capacity to receive. Sacred practice. When you witness another's success or good fortune, pause and place your hand over your heart. Softly whisper, "Their abundance supports mine." Let this truth settle into your being until you feel your energy field expand with genuine celebration. Practice this especially when envy first arises, transforming contraction into expansion. Chapter 17. The Wealth Timeline. In a small mountain village, Ruby rushed through life as if chasing time itself. Each morning she would hurry to the marketplace, convinced that arriving first would secure the best opportunities. Yet despite her haste, the finest goods seemed to elude her grasp. Through the echoes of ages comes this timeless truth. The universe operates on its own exquisite schedule. Your task is not to force the hands of time, but to align with the natural rhythm of creation. When you release the grip of urgency, you enter the flow of divine timing. Like water finding its perfect course, abundance moves according to unseen principles that transcend your earthly calendar. Your role is to maintain the vibration of peaceful expectancy. The wise ones of old understood that manifestation follows the law of energetic resonance. Just as a flower blooms neither early nor late, but precisely when conditions align, your desires materialize when your frequency matches their essence. Anxiety about timing creates resistance, while trust creates conductivity. An old story speaks of a traveler named Sophia, who habitually arrived at the station hours before her train. Day after day, she waited in agitation, watching empty tracks. One morning, delayed by helping a stranger, she arrived without her usual rush, just as her train pulled into the station. In that moment, she glimpsed the perfection of universal timing. This wisdom whispers through the ages. The universe orchestrates countless events to bring about your good. Your task is not to control when things arrive, but to prepare your energy to receive them. When you trust divine timing, you release the resistance that delays your manifestations. Think of timing not as a sequence of minutes, but as a harmony of vibrations. Just as musical notes must be struck at precise moments to create melody, your desires manifest when your energy aligns with their frequency. Forced timing creates discord. Relaxed alignment creates symphony. Your role is to maintain the vibration of calm expectancy. Rather than pushing against time, float upon it like a leaf on a stream. The current knows where to carry you. Ancient practice. Whenever impatience stirs within you, place your hand over your heart and softly affirm, "Everything I need is on schedule." Feel the truth of these words settling into your cells, replacing urgency with trust. Let this become your anchor in the perfect timing of the universe. Chapter 18. Emotional Exchange Rates. A merchant named Clark noticed a peculiar pattern in his ledgers. On days when his spirits soared, coins seemed to multiply effortlessly. Yet when shadows crept across his mood, even the most promising ventures yielded meager returns. Your emotional state creates the invisible exchange rate between thought and manifestation. Just as currencies fluctuate in value, your inner atmosphere determines how far each intention travels in the material world. When you vibrate at the frequency of joy, a single thought holds the purchasing power of thousands. When contracted in fear, even the grandest visions translate into copper pennies. The law of attraction responds not to what you think, but to the feeling tone beneath your thoughts. Your emotional signature acts as the determining factor in this metaphysical marketplace. Like a central bank adjusting interest rates, your sustained feeling states either expand or contract what your consciousness can buy in the physical realm. In an ancient bazaar, two merchants set up identical stalls side by side. Both offered the finest silks and spices, yet one prospered while the other struggled. The first merchant, his heart light with gratitude, found customers drawn to his radiant presence. The second, weighted by anxiety, repelled the very abundance he sought to attract. Though their goods were the same, their inner economies yielded vastly different returns. This tale speaks directly to you now. Your emotional frequency determines your rate of energetic exchange with the universe. When you maintain states of appreciation, enthusiasm, and trust, you create favorable market conditions in your reality. Your thoughts become premium currency, manifesting with remarkable efficiency. Yet, if you allow worry, doubt, or resentment to dominate your inner landscape, you devalue your creative power. These lower frequencies act as a form of spiritual inflation, requiring more effort to manifest the same results. The universe responds to your emotional signature with mathematical precision. Like attracts like. Your consistent feeling tone becomes your standard rate of exchange with life itself. By consciously cultivating uplifting emotional states, you optimize your manifestation efficiency. The practice. Each morning upon waking, recall a moment of pure, unbridled laughter until you feel its warmth spreading through your being. Let this genuine mirth infuse your field, raising your baseline frequency. This simple act recalibrates your inner economy, ensuring your thoughts carry maximum manifestation value throughout the day. Chapter 19. The Field of Forgiveness. In a small coastal village, a woman named Opal ran a once thriving shop by the harbor. Though her storefront faced the busiest trading route, customers grew sparse. Each day she watched ships laden with goods sail past. Yet abundance seemed to drift beyond her reach. In her ledger, numbers dwindled like the evening tide, while in her heart, old grievances gathered like barnacles. The flow of wealth follows the currents of your emotional waters. When you clutch tightly to past hurts, especially those involving exchange or partnership, you create invisible dams in your prosperity stream. These emotional blockages manifest as financial stagnation, for energy cannot flow where bitterness stands guard. Your resistance to releasing old wounds becomes a self-imposed tax on your abundance. Each grievance you harbor requires energy to maintain, energy that could otherwise fuel your expansion. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, cannot pour new wine into vessels still bitter from yesterday's dregs. Think of your consciousness as a channel through which the infinite seeks to express itself. When you hold on to resentment, particularly regarding money or relationships, you narrow this channel. The law of attraction responds not to your surface desires, but to your deepest emotional signature. If that signature carries the weight of unforgiveness, it will attract more situations that mirror your inner turbulence. At the edge of an ancient kingdom stood a mighty gate, its hinges frozen by years of accumulated rust. Merchants and travelers were forced to take longer routes, and the kingdom's wealth diminished. One day, a wise woman noticed that the rust was not the gate's natural state, but rather the result of neglect. As she began to clean the hinges, years of corrosion fell away. With each layer removed, the gate moved more freely until finally it swung open with ease, restoring the flow of commerce to the realm. Like that gate, your capacity for receiving stands ready to open, but first must be freed from the rust of resentment. Each person you hold in the prison of unforgiveness becomes a guard locked in with them, watching over your own abundance. The physics of prosperity require clear channels. When you release others from the debt of your grievances, you liberate yourself from the exhausting task of maintaining old wounds. This liberation creates space for new possibilities, allowing fresh energy to circulate through your life. The practice. Find a quiet moment at dawn or dusk. Close your eyes. Bring to mind those you've held in the ledger of grievance, and whisper with genuine intent. I free them and myself, so prosperity can circulate freely. Feel the release as a physical sensation of lightness, as though heavy coins have been lifted from your shoulders, transformed into wings. Chapter 20. The Metaphysics of Worth. In a bustling marketplace, Ralph displayed his intricate tapestries, each one woven with threads that seemed to capture sunlight itself. Yet when customers inquired about the cost, he would hesitate, his voice dropping to a whisper as he named prices far below their true worth. Night after night he returned home with his finest pieces still in hand, his purse lighter than the morning dew. The universe recognizes no bargains. The price you place upon your gifts reflects not their market value, but your understanding of the divine spark within them. When you undervalue what flows through you, you deny not just yourself, but the sacred exchange that seeks expression through you. Your worth springs not from the opinions of others, but from the infinite source that birthed your talents. Each creation carries a signature of the divine, a frequency that resonates with its true value. When you align your pricing with this spiritual truth, you honor not just your work, but the universal force expressing through you. Picture the pearl in its shell beneath ocean waves. Whether divers seek it or not, its luster remains unchanged. Yet when one who recognizes its true nature holds it to the light, its radiance intensifies, as if responding to being truly seen. So too does your work shine brighter when you acknowledge its spiritual heritage. The second tale speaks of Joshua, a master craftsman who carved stories into wood. For years, he priced his pieces modestly until a wise elder visited his workshop. "Your hands shape more than wood," the elder observed. "They shape moments of eternity." From that day forward, Joshua priced his work according to its spiritual significance rather than market trends. To his amazement, customers not only willingly paid the higher prices but treasured his pieces as sacred objects. This mirrors your own journey with value. When you recognize that your gifts flow from an infinite source, your pricing becomes an affirmation of that divine connection. Each exchange becomes not a mere transaction, but a sacred circuit of energy, blessing both giver and receiver. Sacred practice. Before sharing your work or services, place your hands over your heart and quietly affirm, "What I offer is sacred exchange." Let this truth resonate through every interaction, knowing that true value flows from spirit, not society. Part 3. The Treasury Within. Chapter 21. The Stillness of Sufficiency. A merchant named Minnie rushed through her days, constantly pursuing the next opportunity. From dawn until dusk, she darted between meetings, pursued leads, and chased potential clients. Despite her ceaseless activity, wealth seemed to dance just beyond her grasp, like a mirage shimmering on the horizon. The truth you now uncover rests in paradox. Abundance reveals itself not through endless motion, but in sacred stillness. When the mind ceases its restless pursuit, the infinite supply that has always surrounded you becomes visible. You need not chase what already dwells within. In every moment of quiet recognition, the universe's limitless treasury opens before you. Your wealth is not measured by the distance you travel seeking it, but by your capacity to rest in the knowing of its presence. Like air that fills every space, abundance permeates all of existence. Yet in our haste to grasp it, we often overlook its constant companionship. In a tranquil valley lived a wanderer who spent years searching for a legendary lagoon said to grant prosperity to all who found it. Day after day, he trudged through forests and scaled mountains, his determination growing with each step. One evening, exhausted from his journey, he collapsed beside a murky pool. As his breathing slowed and his mind grew still, the sediment in the water gradually settled. In the perfect calm that followed, he gazed into the now crystal waters and saw, reflected there, all the riches he had been seeking. The lagoon had been beneath his feet all along, its treasures only visible when he ceased disturbing its surface. So it is with the wealth that awaits your recognition. When you suspend the anxious doing, the eternal abundance that has always been your birthright emerges into view. Your inheritance requires no earning, only your willingness to be still and receive what has never left you. Ancient practice. Find a quiet place and sit comfortably. For 5 minutes, simply breathe and rest in gratitude, making no effort to attract or achieve. Let each breath remind you of the abundance that flows through your life without your striving. This is not meditation to gain. It is recognition of what you already possess. Chapter 22. The Prosperous Mindset. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Caleb oscillated between two worlds. Some mornings he would open his shop filled with boundless enthusiasm, certain that prosperity flowed endlessly. On other days, doubt would seep into his bones, convincing him that success was mere illusion. His fortunes rose and fell like waves, matching the tides of his shifting beliefs. The universal law you now discover speaks to a profound truth. Your material reality crystallizes around your most consistent thoughts. When your mind wavers between abundance and lack, the universe cannot form a clear imprint of your desires. Like water taking the shape of its container, prosperity requires a steady vessel of belief. Your thoughts are not mere whispers in the void. They are the architects of experience. Each sustained vision carves pathways in the fabric of creation. Yet these pathways dissolve when doubt interrupts their formation. The law demands coherence, a single, unwavering frequency held long enough to reorganize matter itself. A weaver in the mountains once crafted magnificent tapestries, each telling tales of legendary beauty. Yet she suffered from a peculiar affliction. Whenever doubt crossed her mind about her chosen pattern, the threads would mysteriously unravel, forcing her to begin anew. Days turned to weeks as she abandoned design after design, until an ancient sage shared a secret. The thread follows the pattern you hold most steady. Choose one vision and let not your mind waver, even for a moment. The weaver took this wisdom to heart. Though other patterns tempted her, though doubts whispered at the edges of her mind, she held fast to a single design. Within days, her finest tapestry emerged, one that would never unravel. This tale mirrors your own relationship with prosperity. When you oscillate between trust and fear, abundance and lack, you unravel the very reality you wish to weave. The universe responds not to fleeting thoughts, but to sustained conviction. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and settle into stillness. For exactly 60 seconds, immerse yourself completely in the feeling that all is well. Let this sensation fill every cell of your being. Observe how the world around you subtly shifts to match this frequency. This practice, passed down through generations, aligns your energy with the natural state of abundance. Chapter 23. Quantum Receiving. In a quiet garden, Loretta knelt in daily prayer, her whispered hopes rising like incense to the heavens. Each morning and night she would plead for abundance, yet her hands remained empty. Her petitions were perfect, spoken with faith and wrapped in reverence, but something essential remained missing. This unveils a sacred truth. Prayer is but half the equation in the mathematics of manifestation. While asking opens the door to universal forces, allowing completes the circuit of creation. You must become as skilled in receiving as you are in requesting. The difference lies in the subtle art of surrender. When you pray, you reach outward with desire. When you allow, you open inward with acceptance. One pushes, the other pulls. One speaks, the other listens. Both are equally vital in the dance of manifestation. Many souls master the art of asking but remain novices at receiving. They send their wishes skyward while unconsciously blocking the very blessings they seek. Their bodies tense, their minds doubt, their hearts contract, all while their lips speak of abundance. This misalignment creates resistance in the very channel through which prosperity must flow. Think of the window in an ancient tower. The window may be beautifully crafted, its opening perfectly positioned to catch the morning breeze. Yet if it remains closed, no amount of wind can enter. The breeze does not need to be summoned or created. It already exists, waiting patiently. The only action required is the gentle act of opening. So too with the winds of abundance. They blow eternally, carrying all you have requested. Your task is not to generate prosperity, but to allow it passage through the gateway of your being. This allowing is an art form, a practice of conscious receptivity. When you enter the state of allowing, your entire being relaxes into trust. Your shoulders soften, your breath deepens, your thoughts quiet. You need not strain or struggle. Like the open window, you simply maintain the space through which blessings can enter. The ancient wisdom speaks of a practice passed down through generations. When any blessing appears, be it a penny found on the street or an unexpected windfall, pause to acknowledge its arrival. Each time you receive, no matter how small the gift, whisper softly, "I allow the flow now." This simple act signals to the universe your readiness to receive more. This receptivity becomes your natural state as you practice the art of allowing. Your prayers transform from desperate pleas into grateful acknowledgments. You learn to trust that all you have asked for is already making its way to you, requiring only your willingness to receive. Sacred practice. As blessings appear in your life, a kind word, a moment of beauty, an unexpected gift, pause to say softly, "I allow the flow now." Let each recognition expand your capacity to receive. Chapter 24. The Richness of Simplicity. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Frank surrounded himself with countless ledgers, strategies, and complex trading systems. His desk overflowed with charts, his mind raced with endless calculations, and his days blurred into nights as he sought the perfect formula for wealth. Yet prosperity remained elusive, slipping through the tangles of his complicated schemes. One dawn, as he struggled to untie a knot in his shoelace, wisdom whispered through the frustration. Abundance flows through the channels of simplicity. The universe operates on elegant principles, not convoluted formulas. When you align with this natural order, wealth materializes with graceful ease. The law of attraction responds most powerfully to clear, focused energy. Like a laser beam that concentrates light into unprecedented power, simplified thought patterns amplify your manifesting potential. Each time you remove a layer of complexity from your relationship with wealth, you strengthen the signal you send to the universe. Picture a grand orchestra preparing to perform. Amid the chaos of warming instruments, a single pure note sounds from the oboe. In that crystalline tone, every other instrument finds its pitch, and harmony emerges from discord. This is the power of simplicity, one clear vibration bringing order to complexity. You need not master elaborate techniques or memorize countless affirmations. The universe responds most generously to those who cultivate inner clarity. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align in simple harmony, you become a natural conduit for abundance. A traveler named Samuel once carried 3 heavy bags through the desert, each filled with maps, provisions, and survival gear. Exhausted and lost, he met a sage who carried only a walking stick. "How do you survive with so little?" Samuel asked. The sage smiled and pointed to the stars. "I follow one star, and it leads me true." The more items you carry, the more your attention scatters. But focus your eyes on a single point of light, and all paths become clear. This wisdom applies directly to your journey of manifestation. The more you simplify your approach to wealth, the more powerfully you attract it. Release the need for countless strategies and multiple backup plans. Trust in the fundamental principle that like attracts like, and that clarity breeds clarity. Ancient practice. Choose one corner of your living space, a drawer, a shelf, or a desktop. Remove everything from this space. Clean it thoroughly. Return only those items that bring immediate joy or serve an essential purpose. Sit quietly before the newly cleared space and whisper, "In this simplicity, I create room for abundance to flow." Feel how the empty space vibrates with possibility, ready to be filled with fresh manifestations of prosperity. Chapter 25. The Signature of Joy. In a sun-filled atelier among ancient olive trees, a young artisan named Della labored tirelessly at her craft. Each morning she arose before dawn, methodically following every business strategy she had learned. Her work was impeccable, her marketing precise. Yet something essential remained missing from her enterprise. One afternoon, while organizing her workspace, she uncovered an old photograph that sparked an unexpected laugh. In that moment of pure delight, a client appeared at her door, drawn by the sound of her joy. This client became her most valued patron, leading to a revelation that would transform her understanding of abundance. The universe speaks in frequencies, and joy represents the highest vibration known to creation. When you emanate genuine happiness, you broadcast on a wavelength that wealth naturally recognizes and responds to. Money, in its essence, seeks alignment with life-affirming energies. Your joy acts as a beacon, drawing prosperity through the law of resonance. Consider the tale of the mountain singer. In a remote village, travelers would mysteriously alter their paths, drawn to a particular valley. The locals knew the secret, a shepherd whose pure, delighted laughter echoed through the peaks. His joy required no advertisement, needed no promotion. The sound alone guided weary wanderers to his door, where they gladly traded silver for shelter. His happiness became his wealth. This timeless truth reveals itself. Authentic joy serves as your energetic signature in the universal marketplace. When you radiate genuine delight, you need not chase prosperity. It recognizes your frequency and flows naturally toward you. Like attracts like, and money itself carries the vibration of joyful exchange. Many seek wealth through strain and struggle, forgetting that tension creates resistance in the energetic field. But observe how children attract attention without effort, through their natural, unbridled enthusiasm. This same principle operates in the realm of abundance. Your joy becomes your calling card in the invisible realms where true wealth originates. The mountain singer never marketed his shelter, yet his valley prospered because authentic happiness needs no advertisement. It speaks a language older than words, recognizable across all boundaries. When you align with this frequency, you tap into abundance's natural flow. Sacred practice. Before beginning your workday, sit quietly and recall a moment of pure joy until you feel its warmth spreading through your being. Let this vibration infuse your entire field. This feeling is your energetic signature, invisibly marking everything you do with prosperity's seal. As you maintain this frequency, watch how effortlessly abundance finds its way to your door. Chapter 26. Metaphysical Investment. A merchant named Norman stood at his shop window each morning, watching potential customers pass by. His shelves held precious wares, yet he hesitated to display his finest pieces, fearing theft or damage. Day after day he calculated risks, creating elaborate scenarios of loss, until his shop became a fortress of caution rather than a sanctuary of exchange. In the depths of his worry, an inner voice whispered, "The first investment is not of goods, but of faith." This truth pierced the veil of his fear, revealing the subtle mechanics of universal abundance. When you hold back from life, clutching your resources close, you signal to the universe a frequency of scarcity. This energetic withholding creates a field of resistance around your desires. True investment begins not with physical currency, but with the currency of trust, an offering of faith before evidence appears. Consider how the universe operates. Every seed planted vanishes into darkness before its sprout emerges. The farmer who questions whether to plant, examining each seed with doubt, misses the growing season. But one who scatters seeds with joy, trusting in nature's rhythm, activates the law of multiplication. A story tells of a wise gardener who planted bulbs in the depths of winter. His neighbors mocked his timing, seeing only frozen earth. "What fortune can grow in such barren soil?" they asked. Yet the gardener smiled, knowing that beneath the surface, invisible forces were already at work. When spring arrived, his garden erupted in magnificent blooms, while others scrambled to begin their planting. This tale mirrors the metaphysical principle of energetic investment. The gardener's faith, offered freely in winter's darkness, multiplied into spring's abundance. His trust became the fertile soil from which prosperity bloomed. You see, the universe responds not to your careful calculations, but to your willingness to invest energy before seeing returns. When you extend trust into the unseen, you create energetic roots that will, in time, bear fruit in the physical world. Ancient practice of trust. Sowing. Find a quiet moment at dawn or dusk. Settle into stillness and envision yourself standing in a vast field of fertile soil. In your hands, feel the weight of golden seeds, each one glowing with potential. These are your seeds of trust. As you scatter them across the field, name each one. I trust in perfect timing. I trust in infinite supply. I trust in divine guidance. Watch as each seed sinks into the earth, taking root in the unseen realm, where all manifestation begins. Feel the quiet certainty that your harvest is already growing beneath the surface of your awareness. Chapter 27. Money Mystics. In a bustling marketplace, Eleanor sat surrounded by scrolls and ancient texts, her brow furrowed in concentration. Each parchment detailed methods for attracting abundance, yet with each new technique, her confusion deepened. The more she studied, the further prosperity seemed to drift from her grasp. One tranquil dawn, as she reached for another scroll, a gentle breeze scattered her papers. In that moment of surrender, she heard the whisper of her heart more clearly than all the teachings combined. This marked the beginning of her true understanding. The universe speaks not through complex formulas, but through the language of intuition. This inner knowing transcends the analytical mind, connecting you directly to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all abundance. When you align with this subtle guidance system, wealth flows not through strategy, but through synchronicity. Like a river finding its natural course, prosperity seeks the path of least resistance. Your intuition serves as the direct line to this flow, bypassing the mind's tendencies to overcomplicate and doubt. Each intuitive nudge carries encoded within it the seed of opportunity, waiting to blossom when trusted. Consider the merchant who studies market trends, yet ignores the quiet urge to open shop in an unlikely location. Those who followed their inner compass, despite logical objections, often discover they've been guided to untapped wells of abundance. The universe's wisdom operates beyond the limitations of rational analysis. In the mountains lived a shepherd who relied solely on his heart's guidance to find the richest pastures. While others consulted maps and seasonal patterns, he would close his eyes each morning, attuned to his inner knowing, and lead his flock. Year after year his sheep thrived, even in the harshest seasons. His secret lay not in technique, but in trust. This truth reveals itself. Your heart holds a compass that glows only when you clear away the debris of overthinking. Like a delicate instrument, intuition requires stillness to function accurately. In moments of clarity, when the mind grows quiet, the next step toward abundance reveals itself with gentle certainty. Every material success story contains this hidden thread. Someone trusted a feeling that defied logic. They followed an inexplicable knowing that led them precisely where they needed to be. The universe's guidance system operates through this subtle channel of inner wisdom. You already possess this gift. Each time you've felt inexplicably drawn toward or away from something, you've encountered your inner compass at work. The key lies not in learning new techniques, but in trusting what you already know. Sacred practice. When facing any decision about wealth or opportunity, pause and place your hand upon your heart. Ask simply, what feels luminous? The answer will arise not as thought but as feeling, a gentle lightness or warmth pointing the way. Follow this guidance without debate, for in that unquestioning trust lies the secret of effortless abundance. Chapter 28. Living as Abundance. In a small temple, a woman named Haroldine diligently separated her meditation cushions from her accounting books. She maintained two distinct lives, one for spiritual growth, another for material concerns. Yet this division itself created an unseen tension, a resistance in the natural flow of abundance. Truth whispers through the ages. Abundance knows no boundaries between sacred and secular. The infinite source of all prosperity flows through every breath you take, every smile you share, every step you walk upon this earth. When you cease segregating spiritual wealth from material abundance, you discover that all life pulses with the same divine current. Consider the sun above. It does not debate whom to bless with its radiance. It simply shines, pouring forth light upon saint and merchant alike. Its nature is to give, to illuminate, to warm, without division or judgment. This is the essence of true abundance. In the mountains lived a wise woman who understood this truth. Travelers would observe her tending her garden, speaking with merchants, and sitting in meditation, all with the same luminous presence. When asked about her secret to prosperity, she would simply smile and continue whatever activity was before her. Her every movement emanated abundance because she had ceased trying to attain it. She had become it. You need not seek abundance, for you are abundance in motion. Every cell of your being participates in the universe's endless dance of giving and receiving. Your breath itself is proof of this eternal exchange. The air freely enters and leaves your lungs, never questioning its path or purpose. This wisdom echoes through each moment. Prosperity isn't a destination to reach, but a presence to embody. When you release the artificial boundaries between spiritual and material realms, you discover that all of life is sacred commerce. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to express the abundance that you are. Ancient practice. As you move through your day, imagine divine light seeping from your footsteps, blessing each place you touch. Let every breath become a gift to the world, every gesture a sharing of infinite wealth. Walk as though abundance flows through you naturally, enriching all in your path. This is not an exercise in imagination. It is remembrance of your true nature. Chapter 29. The Secret of Silence. A merchant named Eugene stood in the marketplace, loudly proclaiming his achievements to all who passed. "See how the universe favors me," he declared, displaying his gleaming coins and precious gems. "I have mastered the ancient laws of manifestation." Yet with each boast, an invisible tide began to turn. His once flourishing business gradually withered, as if some ethereal force had withdrawn its blessing. The universe operates through subtle frequencies that resonate with humility. When you proclaim mastery over its sacred laws, you demonstrate a fundamental misunderstanding of their nature. True power flows most abundantly through vessels empty of self-importance. Like water seeking its lowest point, spiritual force gravitates toward humble spaces. The laws of manifestation work with greatest potency in silence. Each declaration of personal power diminishes the very force you seek to claim. The universe requires no announcement of its gifts. It asks only for quiet appreciation and reverent stewardship of its blessings. In a distant valley, a farmer planted 2 fields of wheat. In one field, he kept the tender shoots covered with light cloths until they grew strong. In the other, he exposed the young plants to constant sun, believing more light would yield greater growth. Yet the exposed field withered, while the protected seeds flourished in their gentle sanctuary of shade. The farmer learned that even life-giving sunlight must be received in measure, that sacred processes require protection from too much exposure. So it is with the seeds of manifestation you plant in the fertile soil of consciousness. These delicate beginnings require the shelter of silence to take root and grow strong. When you speak too soon of what is becoming, you risk disrupting the subtle alchemy of creation. Your manifestations are like precious pearls forming in the depths of your consciousness. Each time you speak of them before their season, you crack open the shell too soon, interrupting the natural process of their perfection. The universe works most powerfully through those who understand the sacred value of silence. This ancient truth reveals itself. Power that must proclaim itself is not true power at all. Those who have touched the deeper currents of universal law feel no need to announce their mastery. Their results speak with far greater eloquence than words ever could. Practice. Each time the universe brings forth a manifestation in your life, resist the urge to announce it. Instead, smile inwardly and let the silence deepen your connection to the sacred current of creation. In this quiet acknowledgement, you honor the mystery and maintain the pure frequency of manifestation. Chapter 30. The Infinite Dividend. In a bustling marketplace, Violetta watched her earnings pile higher each day, yet something essential eluded her. Though her coffers overflowed, her spirit felt strangely empty, until one transformative dawn when understanding pierced her heart like the first ray of sunrise. Wealth's deepest purpose reveals itself not in what it buys, but in what it allows you to give. Money, in its highest expression, serves as a conduit for love's distribution. When you grasp this truth, the very nature of abundance transforms. No longer a goal to attain, but a channel through which blessing flows. Consider how the universal force operates. It does not collect, it circulates. It does not hoard, it distributes. Through you flows the same power that spins galaxies and nurtures seeds into blossoming. When you align with this truth, money becomes what it truly is. Consciousness taking form. Love made tangible. Along the ancient silk routes, there stood a mystical fountain whose waters never diminished. Travelers would stop to drink, merchants would fill their vessels, and still the fountain flowed. Some claimed it was enchanted, others called it miraculous. But one wise woman understood. The fountain's secret lay not in its waters, but in its willingness to give without reservation. The more it offered, the more it received from unseen springs deep within the earth. This fountain mirrors the eternal truth about wealth. What flows through you nourishes you first. When you become a conscious channel for abundance, you discover that you are not merely receiving, you are the source itself, wearing the disguise of a receiver. The universe flows through you, not to you. Violetta's revelation transformed her relationship with wealth. She began to see money as a tool for expressing the love that had always lived in her heart. With each transaction, she felt not the cold exchange of currency, but the warm flow of universal energy moving through her into the world. Just as the fountain's waters replenished themselves through the act of giving, your wealth multiplies not through accumulation, but through circulation. You are not a vessel to be filled, but a spring from which abundance naturally flows. Before making any financial decision, close your eyes and place your hands over your heart. Whisper softly, "I am the source disguised as receiver. Therefore, flow is endless." Let this truth settle into your bones until you feel the infinite fountain awakening within. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. You began this journey seeking answers about wealth, believing it to be a force external to your being. Through these ancient teachings, a profound truth has emerged. The power you sought has always resided within. What appeared as money was simply consciousness taking form, responding to the frequency of your own light. The universe operates through an eternal law, like attracts like. When you emanate trust, gratitude flows back to you. When you radiate joy, abundance naturally follows. This is not mystical theory, but the very physics of manifestation. Your journey has revealed that true wealth never dwells in numbers on a ledger or coins in a vault. It lives in the quality of your attention, in your capacity to recognize worth, in your ability to circulate love through every exchange. Each time you blessed a transaction, appreciated value, or gave from genuine delight, you were activating the infinite flow. The masters of old knew this secret. Wealth chases light. Not the light of public recognition or worldly status, but the quiet radiance of an awakened heart. You are that light. Your consciousness is the lamp that draws prosperity's moths. The more clearly you shine with trust and appreciation, the more naturally abundance organizes around you. Let this wisdom settle softly within you. There is no need to proclaim it or prove it to others. Simply live in the elegant knowing that you have remembered what your soul never forgot. You are the source disguised as receiver. Every breath you take circulates universal opulence. Every smile you offer multiplies prosperity's potential. Your wealth is not measured in what you possess, but in how freely you allow life's abundance to flow through you. Rest in this truth. Quiet and fulfilled, wealthy beyond measure in the sacred satisfaction of remembrance.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.